Yes, this is the Astrology Consultant, and today on the Starlaws podcast, we have a very, very special guest who has been my client previously, but getting to know her, I see that her knowledge of astrology is excellent, amazing, in fact, and we get along so well, and yeah, we just really go into different subjects regarding Gemini, obviously being in Gemini season, talking about retrogrades, Saturn and Mercury in particular, and making decisions within retrogrades and how that can affect things in your life. So I hope you guys enjoy the show.
It's a long time for like Gemini placement people,
I know. No, but we're actually Gemini is actually the best. Gemini is actually the best friends in the zodiac. Would you believe?
I think so as well, to be honest. And I think so. If you have any of these like air placements or fire placements in your chart, like you will definitely get along with like Gemini energy. Because I think like what I find beautiful about Gemini friendships is that the intellectual connection is always there, and usually Geminis are really good listeners, but like the stories that they tell like to other people, it's just so entertaining just to like sit down and listen to that. Like I've had like some like really good like Gemini friends in my past, and like the way their like monologue is just like super entertaining. Like I'm not complaining at all. And then what's like super nice about Gemini friendships is that they don't really force anything. So they keep it like really like real and really authentic. And like if like I think it's just like natural for some like friendships or relationships just to like sometimes people just grow apart, and they really doesn't have to be anything personal about it, but that's just something that happens sometimes. So for Geminis, what I found out that they don't really force anything. So like anything like that, they don't really feel the urge to hold on to things that don't really serve them anymore, or that they can't really serve anymore in that matter as well. So they really understand the flow of life and how things kind of like keep evolving and changing and everything like that. So like I said, like some of my good like Gemini friends in the past, maybe that has happened with them, but like it's all good. So
Well, what is your big three, by the way? So
so my big three is I'm Leo Sun, which is in the 12th house, or actually by the cusp of like 12th and the first house. Moon in Libra, which is in the 3rd house, and then rising Leo.
That's a good combination for podcast without any shadow of a doubt. 100%. Libra in the 3rd house, Moon in the 3rd house. Wow.
Yeah, Gemini energy right there. And and I need to say that also my Mars is in Gemini, which is like that's why I probably like think so highly about Geminis, because like I more or less understand the chain of their thoughts usually.
It's Gemini season, so it's a good time to talk about Gemini, to be honest with you. And
exactly.
Obviously me being a Gemini, I understand them quite well, but all my my dad is a Gemini, my uncle's Gemini, one of my closest friends is a Gemini. I've met, like, I'm looking to go into business within Gemini.
Do
you know what I mean? It's just like it literally doesn't stop. It's like I got so many Gemini examples of how they are and stuff, and they all have the similar traits. But I think like the main thing, the number one thing I would say to all of them is, it's like you said exactly, the ease of being around them.
Exactly.
It's just an ease. I just find the ease about Gemini, that because they're just, I don't know, it's just the energy. I can't really put a finger on it, but they are very easy to be around for me.
Exactly.
Maybe because of the way I communicate or not, but yeah.
Exactly. If there's like something like there's about the Gemini energy sometimes, I found out that there's usually something like easiness and like the easygoingness in Geminis. And if there's usually something that's a little bit like, because obviously like Gemini, like a sign of like chart ruler being Mercury, like the thinking, communication and everything like that, just like work as well. And the energies can like, they're like both like intellectual energies, but obviously like they manifest into like different ways, into like different things in different ways. And what I found out that if there's like something a little bit like uneasy about Gemini, or there's something like a little bit like nervous energy around them or something, there's usually maybe I don't know, like earth sign energy quite strongly in the chart as well. But like in general, Geminis are really, really like easy going and everything. And I have to say that I have a lot of like family members that are Geminis, and some of my best friends have also been Geminis as well. And usually like if I meet a person for the first time and we get along and everything, there's really, really big chance that the person is a Gemini. And especially the sun in Gemini. And I've read that like the sun and Mars conjunction, the sun and Mars in the same sign, that's like a really good like aspect in a friendship. Yeah, and I found that as well, because like me as a Leo sun, I have really good friends that are Leo Mars, and one like a Taurus sun, and then the other one is Scorpio sun. So, but the fact that there is like some air in the chart as well, but the Mars in Leo, it's like there's just like a special kind of connection.
It's an understanding that it's like some more sort of understanding of each other's ego in some ways. But how do you find Gemini women?
Good fun, yeah. I've had like really good Gemini women friends as well. They can like, they're just like super entertaining, super easygoing, and then also like the fact that they don't really force anything, like that's really something that I really, really, really love. So they don't really like.
Do you think there's a difference between men and women in terms of Gemini? Obviously there must be, but do you feel like there's something definitive?
I would probably say, what would I say about that? Well, obviously for me, because like I've dated some like Gemini men, and then like I've been like friends with Gemini women. So like my perspective is obviously like a little bit different, like between these two. But like I would say that Gemini men are not that trustworthy. But like I think like when it comes to like Gemini men, or like Geminis in general, like when it comes to commitment, like it's not that they can't do it, but they just need to be like sure that like what they have committed to is like stimulating enough, and like just has like enough this like like mind stimulation, and like there's like enough like activities and intellectualism and like fun and that kind of stuff.
I think you're right with that. I think Gemini men, if there's nothing happening, if it's mundane, they're out. It's just simple as that. There's nothing else to it. They're out. It cannot be mundane. It's just too boring. Our minds are too, like you said, we need the stimulation. We're thinking all the time. It's like obviously we're very natural at thinking. So some people, when they think, they feel like they're overthinking and they're becoming X, Y, and Z. But for us, we can think all day and it doesn't bother us at all.
Yeah.
So it's like we need that stimulation all the time. But it's interesting. Obviously talking about Gemini and Mercury, like right now, obviously, Mercury obviously has finished this retrograde. When also Jupiter is going into Taurus as well.
Where is it now?
I actually don't know. Could double check.
But in Taurus, right?
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's in Taurus actually.
Okay, still in Taurus. Yeah, there's quite a few planets in Taurus at the moment.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Taurus, but now it's going forward. Do you feel a different type of energy? Because a lot of people, talk about the Mercury retrograde, and it is a powerful energy over us, and I do feel it when it's gone. I don't generally feel it whilst I'm in it, but when it's gone I can tell there's a difference. There's a different type of energy,
some kind of like ease, or like that. Do you think that it happens because maybe in one way or another, maybe consciously or unconsciously, like some themes in your life have kind of like started to like unpack or like resolve like in some ways, and then like after the retrograde you kind of like see the result or the outcome, or maybe there's like in your like chain of thoughts that's kind of like changed, and like you've gained like a new perspective in your thinking, or like in your like I don't know themes in your life or like issues.
I think because it's quite turbulent, your mind cannot think, because it feels turbulent anyway. So you're operating on this like kind of instinctual more than like you feel like you can't really look at yourself from a better perspective because your mind is too fixated in this retrograde that's going backwards and making. So people can step away from their life and look at it and say, okay, I see how this is going. Maybe I should do X, Y, and Z. And in a retrograde, I think that's pretty hard to do. I think clarity is pretty hard to get, and I think it affects everyone. But I think at the same time, because some people are very forward operating, you don't really see it affect them. You don't physically see it on them. But if you're not really in tune with your own energies, especially these energies that astrology has with the planets affecting us, if you're not in tune with it, you can't really describe it. So a lot of people that don't know astrology will say it's normal, or will say, if it's retrograded or not, they may feel a slight difference, but not really. But it's because their understanding of themselves and what's happening isn't completely there. Or even if they don't know astrology, they may feel like that. They may feel like that. So it's so powerful upon us, and I think there's no one that can avoid it. And I think ultimately,
exactly, and it's like I'm sure, like, okay, so Mercury in a way, because it's still like a personal planet. You can kind of like see the situation happening like on a personal level, but it's also like a collective thing as well. But I think once you kind of like open your eyes to these kind of things and everything, and then obviously some people could say that, oh, because you just believe in this, you always like find these like connections, even though there are not any connections. But anyways, I would say that once you start to see these things and like add like things up and everything like that, you can actually start to see the connections. Just like some people when like the moon. Sorry, I need to translate this one word.
I think the moon is beautiful, and it's
or moon tide, like tide, or like the full moon or something like that. Like some people can actually feel the effects of the full moon more than the others, and
I think that transition of the moon is the biggest effect on humanity. I just don't know why, but I think everybody knows that's real. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, just because I don't really feel the effects on it, like on like that personal level, at least like every time, it doesn't really mean that it doesn't exist, or like some people actually don't like that. Some people wouldn't feel it on a like really strongly. So I think like when it comes to like different like other retrogrades, like Mercury, the bigger like outer planets as well, I'm pretty sure that there's always something, at least on a collective level, on a collective scale.
Yeah. It's it has to be. And if people just accept the moon and not anything else, I think how can you be that close-minded? If this is having energy, so is everything else around you. 100%. What retrograde do you think is like the biggest effect out of all the planets?
Well, I would probably say Mars retrogrades. I don't know, like there's always something going on, but like nothing too much. It's quite manageable, I would say, at least like for now. I knock the wood. Maybe Mercury retrograde, because it happens every so often. It's usually always something to do with like the communication or the technology or schedules, like the TFL, delays and like suspensions and everything like that. So I would probably say that, and then maybe in some ways Venus in retrograde as well. And obviously that topic touches like the relationships and love and like aesthetics and everything like that. And also because like me being Venus moon Libra as well, so I don't know, maybe that has something to do. So yeah, I'm really like I don't want to say like nervous, because if you start to feel like, obviously like it's probably nice to be like prepared for like any of these like transits and like retrogrades and everything like that, but if you start to be like scared of all of these things, like Mercury retrograde, this retrograde, there's always a retrograde after one retrograde. So there's not really like a proper time in the sky where like nothing is like, like
except for when my daughter was born, because she has 0 retrogrades. So
it's one of those like rare ones then.
Rare. I can completely feel it as well. She is just outward every sense. I've never seen anything like it. But, I think Saturn is quite a big one.
Saturn, yeah. Talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Saturn is a real. You just basically, I think with Saturn, when it's retrograding, I think you have to really just be in the flow of whatever you're doing or whatever you tried to do before. Because I think if you try to start something new within a Saturn retrograde, I think it's very tough. It hits hard, and takes a lot of effort and work. And I think obviously, like you said, with Mercury, it happens so often, and I think that's why I don't think Mercury hits us as hard, because we're so used to it at the same time. But
I mean,
do you make decisions? Do you make decisions based around retrogrades and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, the technological issues, anyways, like it's just like almost like a part of everyday life, anyways. So it's like nothing that people these days are not used to already. So yeah, you're right. Didn't I change my job during the last Saturn retrograde last year?
Yes, you did. Yeah,
because I remember you. Oh, like I think it would be better for you to like wait for at least like a few more months, and then I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, no, I can't do it anymore. Like I need to like change right away. And to be honest, the change was really good, but obviously like you could tell already that the change wasn't like permanent. So I was already like moving after 3-4 months.
But sometimes, obviously that's what I mean by retrograde. Like if you're having a big thing or something that you really put your heart into, and you could say, yeah, job is like your heart, your passion potentially. But I think when it's real big decisions, I think, like you said, it doesn't really matter that maybe you won't last there for however long, because that's a sign of why when you change during a retrograde, it's not permanent. It's not something that really what you're about. So it's still the fact of the retrogrades is still there, but I think we do have other things happening in our chart. So just because Saturn is retrograding, just because Mercury is happening, guys, we don't always have to think that this is the bad thing and focus on the bad thing. Because for me personally, I do not focus on negativity. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I see it and I witness it and I'm aware of it. So I don't ignore it, but I don't focus on it. I focus on all the positive aspects of my chart, continually with my transits and stuff. And I make decisions based around them. Most of my decisions are based around them. So, and I feel like, I live a life that is very, very, very calm and comfortable for me. And I'm trying to push myself even more. But, for you and I know you're doing things in between retrogrades at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of you changing your living arrangements, but it's like, it's you feel so much better doing it outside of the retrogrades, don't you, in terms of changing?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then like at the same time I'm thinking like, even though like some of the like I mean obviously like some of the talks have been like happening like during the retrograde like window, but it's also, retrograde is also like ending things and like like making like the not maybe the final decisions, but kind of like like some things have been open and then you kind of like want to like
finalize clarity. You gain clarity and you want to make the decision based on the clarity that you've gained through the mess, through the turbulence kind of in some way.
Yeah, exactly. So because obviously, so basically I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and he's heard about these things before, and he is like open-minded about it and everything, but he doesn't probably like, he's not like that into like as I am. But like what I love about him is that he might sometimes like find this like, I told him that so like when we like move in together and everything like that, I don't want it to happen like during this and this time because of this and this, and he finds it a bit funny, and I don't mind because it's it probably sounds funny to people who don't really like dig.
Yeah,
like,
of course you can't defend it.
Yeah, but the fact that he was like really supportive still and like curious to know, or like curious to like hear about it, so that like means just like so much to me. So yeah, I was the one like choosing the dates with this moving in and everything like that. So and it was like just a matter of time like to happen, to be honest. Like it's been going steadily towards the
the right steps, definitely. And 100%. It's and you went, your Saturn's now in your 8th house, isn't it?
Yes.
So you've had this partnership with Saturn. You've had this partnership with Saturn in your 7th house, and
it started in the 7th house, and it's now continuing in the 8th house, and it kind of like all makes sense.
100%. That's what I mean. Exactly. So you know, I think the most solidest partnerships come from Saturn in the 7th house. Like the most, it's like it's long lasting. Honestly.
Yeah.
This is definitely an indication of that. But it's interesting. What do you think about, changing the topic completely, what do you think about Chinese astrology and things like that, and Vedic? I know Vedic is slightly different to Western. How do you find it?
So Vedic is Vedic the one with the sidereal? Is Vedic the same as sidereal?
Yeah, sidereal. Yeah. Same thing.
I'm pretty sure that like that makes sense as well. I haven't, like, me personally, I haven't really like look too much into it, because first of all, in the Vedic astrology I would be like Cancer everything, and for me as a Leo, I don't buy that. I don't want to be for me,
you don't like the
but I feel like there is also truth to the Vedic astrology as well. And I think it's more maybe, I don't know, where did I read it? I think what I read about it was something like it's more like relevant on like the soul level, or like somewhere like really like deep down inside of the soul level. I don't know. And it kind of makes sense maybe in a way, because like no matter how much I want to be Leo and everything like that, there's always like something like really I don't know, maybe like maybe something like watery, and this could be my 12th house stuff talking again, but like all these like different like how would I say it? Maybe like insecurities, or like these uncertain like feelings and emotions and like these things. But I don't know, what do you think about the Vedic astrology? What's your take?
I mean, I've done a lot, over 60 to 80 consultations of people, and I find that every time I do astrology, which is Western, the more I talk to them, the more it just resonates with their Western sign, you know. So I generally do not believe in Vedic, but I can't dismiss it at the same time. I can't dismiss it. Do you know what I mean? I can't say no, this is not right. I've had readings and they are pretty good. I have to say. So it's very strange that, but then there's all, like you said, there's crossovers. It's like you feel this watery thing, but then your 12th house is in Pisces. Like they talked about me. Some of this is Taurus. Some of my placements are Taurus, etc. But then I have my Jupiter in Taurus, which is my dominant planet. So it's like, well, you know, do you know what I mean? It's it's constantly crossing over. So it's hard to really, like, you know, say yes or no, whatever. But I think both are valid and both can be utilized in this world. So I'm happy with both.
Exactly. But I don't know. I think at least at this point, like even like with the modern astrology, there's just like still so much to learn and like study. So if even if I focus on like one branch of astrology, which is now the modern, it's like a never ending job to like have a grasp of literally everything. So
honestly, you have to. You cannot be arrogant in this world. We don't know nothing really. Let's be honest. Yeah,
exactly. So what about the Chinese astrology? What do you think?
I really like it. I really resonate with, you know, I'm a dragon, and you're I think you're
I'm a dog.
You're a dog. You know, dragons and dogs don't get along.
No.
Yeah, it's dragon, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
dragon,
I see. Oh, yeah, that's
apparently. Yeah, apparently. But it's because they call it enemy signs, apparently.
Right. There's also something like I think it's always like maybe just like in the modern astrology that we are talking about. I think with Chinese astrology, it's always like 4 years apart or like 2 years apart. So I think like anything like 2 years apart, it's like an okay connection. Anything between like 4 years, like anything with 4 years apart, it's like a good connection. And then like some other like years, like every every this year and this year, like the connection wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, I think to do it similar, like astrology in terms of like the opposite. So, like you're 6 years different. So again, that's opposite. So it's like they say opposite, and that's like the enemy, whatever. Which is like, you could say like, are you an enemy to Aquarius? Am I an enemy to Sagittarius? But I don't see it like that personally. I think I get on with Sagittarius. My son is a Sagittarius. My daughter has moon in Sagittarius, but they do have this thing that it's like they're very they think they're right most of the time, but that's the only thing that they generally do think right most of the time, and they don't like to be told if they're wrong. But they're cool. Other than that, Sagittarius are cool.
And to be honest, it's like opposite signs and everything. I think personally, and it's not even my only opinion, I think it's just like when it comes to opposite sign energies, I think Gemini and Sagittarius are the most
similar,
like closest to each other when it comes to like this. Because exactly. You can't be into like this like mutable, like ever-changing energy, you know, like always open, like to change and like just ever moving and everything like that. I think that's
very similar. Where Pisces and Virgo is like very opposite. I do think Leo and Aquarius are they're not similar, but I think there is like a lot of little things that are close. Like it's close because you guys are both of Leo and Aquarius are very good at like gaining attention. Like, and Aquarius does it in a completely different way to Leo. Yeah. But I still think it's like they just know how to do it, which is I'm like, wow, like every Aquarius I know just gains attention. Leo, obviously. Yeah.
Especially when the Aquarius has some like Leo in it as well.
I could imagine. I don't know anyone like that, but I could imagine
like
that.
The person who comes to my mind is like Paris Hilton, because she's an Aquarius, and I think is she Leo moon or something? And she's just like.
I'm trying to think of any Leo moon Aquarius. I can't think off the top of my head. None.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo is actually. You can see he gets attention all day. It's just like he loves it. He absolutely loves it. So yeah,
that is so.
It's interesting. But I mean, to wrap up, is there anything that you would like to add in terms of like what you see in astrology? Like, let's say for the next 6 months, what would you say, knowing your own chart and birth chart, that you would think to say, okay, because of this is what I feel like I can do?
Okay, so what I've been like looking into now is that Jupiter in Taurus, which is like sign of like luck and it's like in like really good sign at the moment. Like it's all about like abundance and like luck and everything like that. And so my Jupiter is transiting in the 10th house, which is like everything to do with the career. Because obviously I've changed now a couple of times in the last 10 months, 11 months, 10 months, probably 10 months. This is my like Gemini Mars, like Mars in Gemini, like it is a habit. Because like before I started to like change the jobs, I was stuck in this one role for 2.5 years. And that was the longest that I've been in one role. And it was absolutely killing me, especially towards and before that, I would always like change every now and then, like every, I don't know, year or so. And so that 2.5 years, that was long. So I kind of feel like now that I'm like back to my natural, like ever moving, you know, like
in your flow now, yeah.
Exactly, I'm in my flow now. So I feel like, and I hope, because like what I read is that my 10th house like transit in the Jupiter is gonna be like bringing me some like new job opportunities, or like I don't know, like a raise or something new. And I'm actually like looking forward to it as well. Obviously my Saturn is returning in the 8th house, which is a little bit scary, but like once again, like I was just trying to do as much research as I could about the topic. I'm not like feeling like I just don't want to shit myself for nothing. But like I feel like I'm like well prepared, and like I'm like trying to like learn this like mindset of like everything will pass. everything will pass. And but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. And so my actual return date is going to be somewhere 2024. Was it like March something, February? So yeah, I'm interested to see what the eighth house thing is going to.
It's going to be an interesting time for you. I mean, that it was mine was quite rough.
But
I remember I was in a relationship that I couldn't stand, and working in a job that I didn't really want to be at, but even though I was good at it and people respected me, I didn't really like it at all, and I felt like it was opposite to who I was, and I felt like I was questioning myself every day.
So
and
what was your house like? Where did your Saturn?
First house.
Oh, first.
Okay. So it really attacked my confidence. Like, it really had to, basically, because I felt like beforehand I wasn't as confident, even close to what I feel like I am now. For my Saturn returns, and that's because it's in my first house. So I was very much aware of it, and I very much went into that battle with Saturn in the first house.
Did you have like a ego breakdown or like?
Yeah. I mean, big time. I had to like deal with so much scrutiny and so much like pressure in my own head, more than that was reality. It wasn't. The reality was there was no pressure. I understand that now, but beforehand I used to feel pressure in a different type of manner. And it used to probably like get to me, like I would just like not want to make a mistake type of thing. And then I realized that, you know, with that type of challenge, I used to start stepping into it and like not being afraid of it. And then when I realized I wasn't afraid, from that moment, I've not been afraid to do anything except probably jump out of a plane or something like that. But do you know what I mean?
You can do it as long as you have the parachute. You're gonna be okay.
I don't trust it. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah,
I've flown a plane before. And it was nice, but I don't know if I'll jump out of it. But
I don't think
I thought me being a Gemini air sign, I would love it. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. I was like, no chance.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But that's good. I feel like, you know, that's the beauty of it. Like when you go through these things, like in your Saturn return, and then you just like come back strong, because that's what it's all about. That's when you know that the time during the return didn't go waste.
Well, for you, I think like obviously transforming is gonna be what it's about.
Yeah, for me, the transformation it's been like a continuous theme in my life, one way or another. So for me, transforming, or like accepting a change, or even like making that change myself. There's like new to it, but I don't know. Maybe it can go to like new levels, like deeper levels.
Yeah, you'll just like potentially deeper, but then you'll come out of it a completely powerful person.
I hope so. Yeah, looking forward to. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, trust me. It's hard, but it's not even just the end goal. The gift at the end. The gift at the end of the rainbow is so worth it. Honestly, that I love my Saturn transit first house. I love that. I love my return.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I would.
In your 50s again, yes.
I'm gonna be like 50 something, so you know it's gonna be like, oh shit, you know, you can't walk anymore, you're probably in a wheelchair. I don't know, who knows. So you got to test yourself now. Like you said, you'll do it again. Let's find out.
You're gonna be in a wheelchair, then you're just gonna roll like that, you know, for the rest of your life.
I'm just gonna be just, you know, doing backflips in a wheelchair, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's lovely to talk to you today.
Absolutely.
You gave a great insight and something for me to think about, actually. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll be seeing you again. I hope to see you again anyway, because obviously like my studio up and running, I hope you'll be available to come on the show, and it'll be me and my co-host.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, have a great day and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Okay.